ladies and gentlemen. This is Justin from Justin and Max Games, and it is a very cold, frigid February afternoon in northern Minnesota. Perfect time for a two-player special review of the game, New Amsterdam. Now, we have a couple of games by this designer, a couple of our real house favorites, one of which is up there, Citrus, and another one kind of behind me. He teamed up with another one of my favorite designers, Bernd Eisenstein, game called Order of the Gilded Compass, one of my favorite quick dice, fun, crazy games. So also this game by Jeffrey Allers. It's an older game. I think it's his first published game. I could be wrong there. But I wanted to pick it up because I liked the other designs. And I was a little bit wary with this one because since I'm primarily now a two-player gamer with my wife, since Max seems to have been more focused on his high school and stuff, we're a little bit, or at least I'm a little bit wary when I see a game that has a higher player count, especially one that has an auction mechanism, and wanted to know how that worked at two players. Now there is a rule in the rule book for 2 and 3 players rather than the 4 and 5. And on Board Game Geek, there is even a further tweak by the designer for especially the 2-player game. So we tried that out because the first game, I basically ran away with it, and the second game, I basically ran away with it again. I said, nah, something's got to make it a little bit more, a little bit tighter. So the 2-player alternative rule on Board Game Geek is to put out buildings of a neutral color in the city, because you're basically working this circular economy. You need to have buildings in the city or businesses in the city in order to get benefits and also to score points for elections in the city. You're needing to clear fields in order to get corn to feed the people that are working in these businesses. You want to have the most businesses in a district. You're also wanting to trade, and so you need to have your trading post further up the river. You want to trade with the ships sending furs back to the old world. It's all really, really interesting, but with 2 players, we felt that without doing the additional rule of having some neutral buildings, it was just too unbalanced for us. So I was a little bit disappointed after the first couple plays. Then, after doing the neutral buildings, it was improved. But I felt, again, if someone went to the city, because you only have 3 different types of actions. You can go to the city, you can clear fields and get more houses, or you can do trading with the ships or for furs. And if you don't concentrate on the city in 2 players, it felt like whoever does is going to really run away with a lot of the points. So then I came up with a further change. Now, this is why I'm going to recommend this game for 2 players. If you use this added change, is that instead of getting, you'll notice if you look at the board, there's 4 different colors there. So I was red and Erica was yellow. And then at the beginning of the game, you take 7 buildings of neutral colors, not the same color. So it almost acts as if there's a 3rd and 4th player that are competing for territory in the city. And at the beginning of every round, after the first round where you place out 2 neutral buildings, you will always be placing out a neutral building at the beginning of every round. So it makes people want to keep up with the city and not kind of lay back with it. Also, if you don't get involved in the city, the other person can encroach in on your majority there. And then we played it 3 more times with this new rule, and I have it on Board Game Geek if you want to take a look at it. It got better and better, and then I always know when the scores get lower and tighter that something is working. And so originally, although probably I was only around a 6 on the game at 2-player count, I can just imagine. I mean, playing through this game and seeing how the auctions run, I mean, I really wish to get this back at the table post-COVID when we could play with 3 or 4 or 5 players. That would be just superb. I could see that's really where this game is just nuts and crazy and a lot of fun, like the other games of Jeffrey Allers, especially Order of the Gilded Compass, which I think is an absolute riot at the high player count. Let me get the game. Yeah, this one got the seal of excellence, And when I looked at it, I was like, oh, this is a kind of a light looking game. But at a higher player count, this game is total. And can it play to five? Yeah, it plays to five. Yeah, this one's an absolute gem. And so I'm just thinking that this one's going to be really great at five. But at two players with the alternate rules of moving out there, it is just way better and a lot more fun, and it goes quick. Now, if I could make, I know the game is older. You get a free action basically every turn, a special action, even if you don't have the chip that goes along with that particular part in the game. I kind of wish, especially maybe on a higher player count, that maybe each player got three chips, during the city, the land, and the trading, and then to remember, all right, I get one special action, let me do it, boom, and then you don't have to worry about it. Because there was a couple of times where maybe one person said, "What? Did I take my special action? Because I'm doing this and this," and you have to think about it a little bit. But that's very minor. Component wise, it's nice. The buildings are really cool. They look like stock components, but I think they kind of fit the uh, old Amsterdam coming to new Amsterdam kind of feel to them. These tall houses with the steeple roofs. The furs are all cool. A couple of them are really dark, though. You could barely see the animal on them, but that doesn't matter so much. You know what matches with what. The iconography is very clear. The rule book is very clear. And at two players with the alternate rules, I'm right around an 8.25 on the game. I think it's a lot of fun. I think if this game probably came out today rather than 8 or 9 years ago or whenever it came out, I think around 8 or 9 years ago, I could see that there might be even more elements to the game that could be included, like I don't know, some special objective cards and so forth. Although the whole thing is about the auction and the fun of kind of trying to outbid and trying to the tightness of that auction is totally cool. When they have the Dutch flag here, showing you the orange, white, and blue, really really cool. Overall, though, although the game kind of looks a little bit old, it plays really well, and I would definitely suggest it. I'm going to give it an 8.25 at two players with my changes. Final word, I'm just going to say that the Justin and Max Games channel is maybe going to go on a little bit on hiatus, especially since Max, who was the other part of this duo, has so much. He's got getting older, right? You've seen the pictures of him from when we started this channel. He's getting older, and he's got a lot more schoolwork than we've had before. And on his off times, he just wants to be on his own a little bit more. This is the problem with getting older. Also, I don't know if you noticed here, I'm also an amateur trying to become slowly maybe professional designer as myself, and I have three games that I have made prototypes for that I'm going to be working on. One on music, Franz Schubert, one on medieval mystic, Hildegard, and one about being here in the Northland and seeing how animals survive. So I'm going to be working on this. So I will try to get back to the table when I can to make videos, but I'm definitely overwhelmed with all the other things I have to do in my life. So keep up with us, and thank you for this review. New Amsterdam, a winner.